Shawn, man, it's Deion Dawkins, and you're listening to the Real Deal Sports Show on the Beat 105.5.
Welcome. Good morning, everybody. The Real Deal Sports Show. It's the Rad Man speaking to you as we always do each and every Saturday morning from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. on the Beat 105.5. Deion Dawkins with that great introduction. And we're coming to you live as we do every week from the Rock Palm Brokers Studios. Real Deal Sports Show with the Rad Man. We're here coming for you at Let me get the Rad Man rant off my chest right away. This is unbelievable. Around the Horn, one of the shows, maybe not my favorite show. And Pardon the Interruption is my favorite ESPN show. Pardon the Interruption. But Around the Horn, which comes on right before it, had its last show. I was shocked when I heard it on Thursday, and they really hyped it up on Friday that they were going off the air after 23 years. This is a show of sports journalists, sports writers, people that write for a living. You read their columns, you pick up the newspaper, or now you read it online, or you still pick up a paper. You read the people like Woody Page, Kevin Blackstone. Just to name a few of the great sports writers that have come on that show for years. And Tony Riel as the host of the show. And it was a fun show. Hate to see it go, but let me put this out there. Why would you eliminate a show where you have writers? These are the people who interview the players in basketball, football, baseball, whatever sport they're covering. They're in major markets. You even have once in a while Mark St. Jacques that used to be with the Buffalo Bills. He covers for ESPN radio and writes. He covers the Miami Dolphins now. He's been on the show a lot. There's a lot of good sports writers. These are people that write. You got to write first before you move on to the next level. And we're trying to teach our young people about writing, why it's so important to write things down. You use your pad, even with a pen. Hey, take a pad and pen and take some notes and write things down in complete sentences. We're trying to teach our young people about complete sentences, and here they go taking off ESPN for whatever reason, taking off the show Around the Horn. I want to salute Around the Horn, dedicate today's show to Around the Horn. Very good show. We hope maybe it comes back down the road. I love that they had the different points total that Tony Riel ended up adding points to it. And then you have two people in the final round of the show, and then one person gets to have their statement at the end of the show. So he really evolved within 23 years of doing the show. He kind of perfected how that show should go, and it will be missed on the airwaves. So I hope you had a chance to see it. If you didn't get a chance to see it, check it out, because I'm sure they're going to be re-airing the last show that took place yesterday. And a lot of times I'm out umpiring like I was doing a sectional girls fast pitch baseball game last night on the turf in the rain a little bit last night. So keep that in mind. Hope you had a chance to check it out and just see that show, because Around the Horn, very important show to the media. And also, Pardon the Interruption, which comes on after at 5:30. Michael Wilbon, Tony Kornheiser. Those are writers. Those are outstanding writers. I used to read their columns growing up, especially Michael Wilbon when he was writing for Sports Illustrated and other publications. He's an outstanding writer. These are outstanding people that write. They wrote for a living. You write things down, you type it up, or you write it on your laptop. These guys are outstanding writers. So don't forget that even though you may know them as a TV personality now, they made their bread and butter was as a writer, where they had to sit down, interview somebody, take the notes, and then write it into a cohesive article that you could read, and it made you feel like you were at the game or you were there. You kind of felt the way you could understand the way that player felt after a win or a loss in sports. And one other outstanding writer that I grew up reading, Stephen A. Smith. Now Stephen A. Smith has blown up as a big-time on-the-air guy, but he's an outstanding writer, sports writer. He wrote for the Philadelphia Inquirer. I would always stop at my newsstand and look for the Philadelphia Inquirer just to read Stephen A. Smith's column. He followed the 76ers, the Phillies, especially the 76ers. Oh, man, he used to put it down about the Philadelphia 76ers back in the day. In their heyday, Low days, good days, bad days. Stephen A. Smith, an excellent sports writer. These are guys that are writers that know how to use a pen and pad and know how to write, and now they transponded that into on-air talking heads on TV. But don't forget where these guys came from and these women came from. They came from being writers. They were writers. These people wrote for a living before they got in front of the camera. So I just want to say shout out around the horn and to all the great writers that came on that show. Kevin Cheeks, good morning to you on the show. I see Kevin Cheeks is checking it out. Internet Passport is here as well, checking out the show. But I just wanted to shout that out about Around the Horn having this last show. Very disappointed to see that show go. I hope it comes back in the near future. I hope we come back in the near future with that with a show like it. I hope we don't go to no influencer type programs with people that don't know how to write, haven't been writing that well. I shouldn't say that. I haven't seen some of these influencers, but a lot of these influencers don't know how to write. They just run off at the mouth and talk a lot of stuff. And a lot of times they may not even have their facts straight. When you're a sports writer or you're writing in a newspaper or a columnist, you had to get your facts. You make sure you got your facts. You double checked it, you triple checked it before you put it in the newspaper. And that's what I do at Challenger Community News as the sports editor and lead sports writer that covers the Buffalo Bills for the past 27 years, covering the Buffalo Bills. I make sure I have my facts straight when I write my articles in Challenger Community News. And that takes us to the largest weekly African-American newspaper. Check out Challenger Community News. There's a lot of great news in it every week. This week, great article on Rochester ABC celebrate their 60 years with Community Action Day. Excellent Community Action Day. Our hats off to ABC. Keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a great job with what you do. You got a lot of good events coming up in the Rochester area. Faith and community outreach. And one of that section, that's my personal favorite section in Challenger Community News is Health Matters. Superfoods, the stuff good bodies are made of. Check it out. There's a lot of good food out there. Cherries. Oh, man, I didn't realize cherries. I'm eating some cherries right now, earlier this morning. They're rich in oxidants called oxidentum, which can lower your cholesterol level. Find out what oranges can do for you. Blueberries, strawberries, cantaloupe, papaya, kiwi. All of these have good nutrients for your body. That's good for your body. So check Health Matters. Health Matters is a great section to read where it gives you each week. They even tell you each season of the year what foods are best to eat for our bodies to help keep our bodies healthy and strong. Juneteenth update. Juneteenth is coming up real soon. Check out the Juneteenth listing. Also, if you want to advertise, check us out, Challenger Community News. Check out the paper online, buffchallnews.com. BUFFCHALLNEWS news.com. So check out Challenger Community News. It's a wealth of information in Challenger Community News, week in and week out. Don't like I said, if it's in the Challenger, it's a newspaper, it's factual information. Don't go online. Some guy told me, hey man, can you put my article in the paper? I said, yeah, just send it to me. Oh, I sent it to you, man. I said, where is it? He said, on Facebook. Facebook? Yo, man, I had to go off on the young brother, man. I didn't mean it, but I had to go. I'm so sick and tired of brothers and sisters and people around thinking Facebook is a newspaper. It ain't a damn newspaper. It's Facebook. People put fake news up on there. Half the people don't even put their name to whatever nonsense they talking about. It's ridiculous. Facebook is not a newspaper, y'all. Yo, check out a newspaper. And you people in the community, you people, overall, I'm talking about my people, African-American people especially, when your loved ones pass away, please send them to the newspapers. Facebook is not a newspaper. A lot of people ask me, hey, I didn't know so-and-so died. When did so-and-so pass? Oh, he passed 3 months. Well, where was the notice? I didn't see it in the paper. I didn't see it in the Democrat Chronicle or the Challenger. Oh, man, it was on Facebook. Man, I don't look at Facebook. It was all over. Hey, J-GILLZ, come in here, man. I'm ready. I'm ready to challenge the FCC licensing on, man. It got me so disgusted with some of these people acting like Facebook is a damn newspaper. Come on, J-GILLZ. Tell them what time it is.
Absolutely. And you know what? That's why we lean on organizations like the Rochester Association for Black Journalists, where we enlighten scholars. We teach them how to be journalists, and we give them the foundational tools that's needed to write articles, to research, and to actually publish the content, not just on Facebook, but on other outlets too.
And this cat got a master's degree in everything, man. Had the audacity to tell me, look at his oh, excuse me, I almost said something, man. I didn't want to say it on the airway. Told me to go look on Facebook. What the hell I'm looking on Facebook for? Man, send it to the newspaper, man. Send it to challengernews.com or radneygeorge@gmail.com. Man, just send me the article, man. We do not put stuff in newspapers that we see on Facebook. Because Facebook is not the news, y'all. It's not the news. That's why we don't know when your loved ones have passed. Or some people say, man, I would have went to so-and-so's funeral or sister's funeral or whatever. Because we don't see it, because you're too busy thinking Facebook is gone. It ain't where everybody at. Everybody's not there, y'all. Everybody's not there.
And you know, it's different times. You know, we do have to embrace the social media. You have to embrace, you know, the reach that social media has. But absolutely, man, you got to come. Sometimes you just got to get back to the foundations.
Please do. And while we have you, absolutely, we got to get back to the foundation of printing, writing, and make sure you write. Using the letter U is not a writing word. It's Y-O-U. Why? You got to spell everything out, young people. Young people are catching some of our old heads too, trying to be young, trying to write all slick and stuff, SMH and all kinds of stuff. I said, SMH, what the hell is that? I had to ask shake my head. That's what that is. Oh, okay, man. Man, I had to learn some of this stuff, man. Y'all got to, hey, people, we got to get back to the basics, get back to writing, and get back to writing. And speaking of writing, let's move on to another hot topic during Radman Red J-GILLZ. I want to get RG3 versus Ryan Clark. Let me give you a quick disclaimer. I can't stand RG3. So, but go ahead, J-GILLZ. What are your comments on Ryan Clark versus RG3?
Well, Radman, break it down for the listening audience first. Break it down for them. Let them know what's been going on with that.
What's been going on?
I'll give you my take.
Okay, what's been going on with it is it was a WNBA game last week. The Indiana Fever versus the Chicago Sky. Caitlin Clark came in and hard fouled Angel Reese. Angel Reese hit the floor hard. She kind of pushed it. She did push it. The announcers even said that looked like a flagrant foul because you could see that Caitlin Clark pushed Angel Reese to the floor. Angel Reese jumped up. The young girl, Leah Boston, got in between her and Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark actually turned around and just walked off the other way like, oh, I'm going to let my black sisters handle this. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. That's what I saw, J-GILLZ. And Ryan Clark responded to RG3. RG3 doing it, head bobbing and shaking his head. As he said that he thought for sure that Angel Reese was going to sucker punch Caitlin Clark. And I didn't see her fist balled up. I didn't see her hand. It looked like she was going to maybe grab her or something like that. But it definitely didn't look like, I don't know where he read that it was going to be a sucker punch. And on top of it, what made RG3's comment so bizarre, and he's doing his head like a angry black woman do her head. You know, when that head and neck get going with some of these sisters, right? You know what time it's going to be. You're like, oh boy, here we go. You just get prepared. But this cat, he said, oh, I think she would have sucker punched this woman. But then in the background, he got his wife sitting on the couch and his kid playing, which is cool. It's cool. You got your kid playing, but you got your white woman, your wife, who happens to be white. Mm-hmm. It seems like a nice, very pretty looking, nice looking woman. I don't know the woman, never met her. She seems to look cool, but she's there, look like she's taking her neck and stuff. Like she's trying to, like she egging him on to talk about the black woman. And that's what pissed me off and really pissed me off with the whole situation of comments. And then Ryan Clark, thank goodness he responded to it. And he just said that, hey man, this guy's been married twice to white women. I don't know if he ever dealt with black women, if he ever dated black women, he don't know. But for him to always be talking negative about black women, it's a doggone shame. And people out here, please comment on the line with your opinion of what you think of RG3 comments and how maybe Ryan Clark may have went a little personal with him. I don't think so too much, only because RG3 had his wife sitting in the background while he was going off talking so negative about Angel Reese, like she was a thug. And, like, come on, man. That woman's not a thug. She wasn't. It was nothing in the video that showed us that she was going to sucker punch Caitlin Clark. And that was, to me, that was totally wrong purporting by RG3. Go ahead, take over, J-GILLZ.
Absolutely. Excellent synopsis to that, Rad man. Man, when are we going to stop as critics, as analysts of the game? When are we going to stop making this about race between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark? I mean, that's where it all stemmed from. It's unfortunate that, the media has depicted this as black versus white in a sport that didn't really get as much eyes and views and respect as they're getting now. And the reason that we're watching that WNBA it's not because of black and white. It's because of a great rivalry. They brought parity back. That the league is full of women who can ball, who can hoop. And the genuine feuds dating back to the college days of Angel Reese, of Caitlin Clark. I just wish that this would stop following them. It's just so annoying. But to your point, RG3, Ryan Clark, I felt Ryan Clark was a bit out of bounds, bringing up the fact of RG3's two white wives that he had. Obviously, that has shaped his perspective to that, but I don't think it was. Ryan Clark shouldn't have said that, in my opinion. Not to mention the big controversy is, Ryan Clark also has a biracial child.
Oh, he does?
He done knocked up a white woman back in the day.
Oh,
so
really?
His oldest daughter is biracial. So I mean, so maybe that's, to his point, maybe he knows because he done dealt with the white women and the black women. RG3, he only been on one side of it. But to me, it's like just keep the race out of it. Keep it up in basketball. And to me, Caitlin Clark is as great as she is. To me, she's starting to get on my nerves with all of this crying on the basketball court. It's like you can dish it, but you can't take it. She flopping, she doing all this. That's what's making me upset. You know what I mean? That's what I don't like to see. So when it boils down to it, Ryan Clark was a little out of bounds, but let's just keep it to basketball when we talk about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese.
But the other point too that I noticed that a couple other people mentioned to me during the week was that you got announcers and you got people acting like Caitlin Clark is responsible for the WNBA being where it is. Like all of a sudden, some people who never watched it before acting like she done brought the league up. Where's the Cheryl Swoops, the Candace Parkers, all of those people are responsible for bringing it up. Maya, oh yeah, that's funny you said that because the first person he said was Maya Moore. And he's right. I was saying, you know what? You're right. These are all great ball players that help build this league and help put eyeballs on the league and have people watching it. Now you're getting more people watching it, and some of these people watching it acting like Caitlin Clark is the one who discovered it. No, she's not who discovered. This league has been around for over 20-some years. It's growing now. It's growing now. She may be helping in growing this product, but she did not start this league or really get this league to where it's at today. It's a and there's so many good ball players coming out. Paige Beckers. Every year now, you're getting 3 or 4 very good women basketball players joining the WNBA and making it way. Because you haven't even heard Paige Becker's name really mentioned a lot. She's coming off 19 points in her first game. It's starting to grow. But one other point I wanted to mention about RG3. I believe he grew up in a military family. He was out of the Texas area. And his African-American culture is pitiful. I mean, he really got to know that you can't go on the air and talk about black women the way he's been talking about black women, number one. And then number two, I think he was released from Monday Night Football, from ESPN, because of how his comments were not totally on point. And then he went way out and had a racial slur. He said a racial slur on Monday Night Football against black people.
What did he say?
I mean, he called the running back. I was in here working on my Bills article because it was Monday. I'm working on the Bills article, finishing it up, and I had the TV on and hear the pre. and they were showing a running back. They were talking about some running back who was ready to play in this game, showing highlights of him. And he's and RG said, man, look at that. Man, look how he cuts. Oh, man, that Jigaboo can run fast. Look how that Jigaboo is running. I said, Jigaboo. I said, no, I know he didn't. I got it. I rewound it the 3 times. I know that black dude did not call another black man a Jigaboo on national TV. And when I rewound it and watched it, Adam Scheffler was standing there and Susie Culver. They were all at the desk. They were on the field, standing had that makeshift desk that they sit at on the football field. Right. You still saw Susie Culver like, oh, damn. I'm glad I didn't say. She was looking at him like, oh, Lord, I'm glad I didn't say nothing like that. And Adam Schefter was like, man, want to get away? Looked like he could have been in the Southwest Airlines commercial, man. He was like, want to get away?
Oh,
I said, this guy. And he said it a couple of times, man. So I'm just wondering, RG3, you got to go back and take a Black History course, man, because you don't know Jigaboo is an offensive word to black people. That's what slave owners used to call black. I remember in the 60s and 70s, growing up in the early 70s, that I could hear my grandparents saying somebody called them that name at work and wanted to fight them and all this. And, that's when I heard the term, and literally from my grandparents talking about what somebody said about them or a coworker, and they were going to tighten this cat up. They were going to get, they were going to lay hands and stuff. So, I don't get where he coming from for him not to know Jigaboo is an offensive word to African Americans, and you are African American, you on live TV calling another African American a Jigaboo. That is that's what I was through. I was through with him. I said, "Oh, this dude, he's sick." As Mr. Blunt, God rest your soul, Mr. Blunt. He's sick, man. Some of these people out here sick, George. They sick. I said, Brother Blunt, you ain't lying. They sick, man. I said, I hear you, Brother Blunt, man. Brother Blunt used to be right on point. This brother's sick, J-GILLZ.
I believe it.
Make comments like that about his own people on live TV or even in private. I mean, hell, private is way, but on national TV, what's your take on that, J-GILLZ?
You're absolutely right. I forgot about that comment from 2 years ago, and that's why some people just can't be on TV like that, man. RG3 has to get it together. You know what I mean? He has to get it together, and that's very unfortunate that he was able to do that.
Yeah, and if you're gonna make comments about, don't have your wife in the background act like she boosting you up, and then he made a comment about, oh yeah, how the people at ESPN gonna like this? I said, he ain't on the ESPN. He was on the Pivot. He was on his own show. His high-rated, Ryan Clark was talking from his highly rated The Pivot podcast show. He wasn't. This doesn't have nothing to do with ESPN. RG3 act like he trying to get the man fired. Like, why would you bring up how would ESPN like this? This ain't got nothing to do with ESPN. He ain't on ESPN. He's on The Pivot. So he seemed like a punk, man. I can't stand that dude, man. He seemed like a straight up punk. RG3. That's my take on him, man.
Radman Ranks.
There we go, man. See, we got our next guest coming in studio now. Before we get to our next guest, we know we got to pay the bills, right? Right, J-GILLZ?
Absolutely. And of course, like, comment, subscribe to the YouTube Real Deal Sports Show. Check us out each and every Saturday morning, 8 to 9 a.m. right here on the Beat, 105.5, and on the YouTube page, Instagram, and of course the website. Watch and read some of those great articles coming from the Rad Man.
Absolutely. And of course, our award-winning next segment is brought to you by our award-winning Miriam Rivera Insurance Agency, Auto, Home, Health, and Life Insurance, 1038 Lyle Avenue or 511 Bean Road, Suite B. Give her a call, 585-360-0094. And she'll get all of your insurance needs. Time for those. Well, it's not time yet to take your boat out. I don't think you want to be out on the river or lake or whatever right now with no boat right now. But in the coming months, hopefully the weather will change. You get your boat out, your motorcycle out there. Hey, Miriam said she got the best prices in town for insurance for your toys. So if you got those toys like that, you want to get down like that in the summer, hey, you want a cool and style and profile on that boat, give Miriam Rivera a call. 360-0094, area code 585 for people outside the viewing area. And now we're going to go to have our first guest of the show. And our first guest of the show is Coach Kevin Good, former Bishop Kearney basketball coach and standout basketball player. This boy, hey, J-GILLZ, he was my neighbor back in the day. Him and his brother were bad dudes, man. They ran Woodbine Avenue, man.
Before that's my own stomping grounds too now. We was all neighbors back then. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes. Kevin Good, welcome to Real Deal Sports Show. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing wonderful. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Oh, can you hear me?
Now we can hear you.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate the invite.
Yeah, and I know you with Thomas Bryant playing for the Indiana Pacers, a local talent that grown up and becoming a big star in the NBA. How was he in high school at Bishop Kearney back in the day? Did you think he had the potential to take it to the next level?
Listen, when he was in 7th grade, walking in the gym, and he was already 6'3", 6'4" with size 15, 16 shoe. Yeah, they were already talking about he may have the potential to be in the NBA.
Okay, and it sounds like how did he conduct himself? How did he?
Thomas was very soft spoken, especially on the basketball court. He in school very soft spoken, and he just let his game do the talking for him. He played hard. He was one of the kids that, as big as he was the first one on the ground to get a loose ball. Even though he'll took a couple elbows and he fell to the ground as well, but no, he was a very hard worker.
Wow, J-GILLZ.
Absolutely, and now we see Thomas Bryant in Indiana. He went to college in Indiana, so it's kind of like a full circle moment there. What have you seen, in his game and how he's been impactful for this Pacers team? Rick Carlisle, great coach, not afraid to dump that bench. We can't say the same for my man Tom Thibodeau. Got my man's tired every year, no matter the squad. He keeps his 7-man rotation very, very tired on the court. But we see guys energetic like a Thomas Bryant coming out. What have you seen in this game to help this series?
Man, his ability to continue, shoot the three, his motor, getting up and down the court. These are all of the tangibles that we stressed, at an early age, and he just kept going. Beating this man up and down the court, rim running. He runs that so hard and it does it so well. He's always been able to shoot the three. He just, in high school. His transition from high school to Huntington Prep and then to college, he did get stronger, but his game, it did develop, but all of those intangibles are still with him to this day.
What is it about a school like Bishop Kearney that just produces not just great athletes but great people? The foundation there seems to be very strong. Tell us a little bit about that program and why it's been so promising.
Well, I've been there 23 years. This is my first year that I stepped away just to watch my kids play. All three of them playing in different places, but I had to step away to help my kids. But just being there and watching so many kids, come through the programs, come through the school and come through the program, it's we're one of the schools, very different than, our other private schools, to where we don't have the glitz and glamour of the gyms and of the schools. We have the, everything is old, and we find a way to, appreciate the character of the school and of the gym. And we have the kids that, blue collar kids that come in the gym that want to get better, and we open the gym up, they show up, and it's been a great ride to where we've been blessed to have so many kids come through and be successful, not just at Bishop Kearney, but when they went on to college. the majority of our kids are successful and they're graduating. And it's a blessing that Thomas was able to make it to the NBA. But we have several other kids that are playing across seas and being very successful. So I'm very pleased and very happy to at least be a part of that.
Yes, and who are some of those players overseas from Bishop Kearney?
We got Ryan Carter. I think this is his first year playing across seas. He I believe they just won the championship for the league that he was in. Nazea Carter is playing across seas. Brian Fobbs playing across seas. Let's see. Several kids actually just graduated. Had Devin Green. I think he led his college team into he was at Oswego. He led his college team to a championship there. My son just graduated. His last 5 games, I think he was averaging like 20-something points a game. He was leading his team. Wow. Shaquille Brown, when he was in college, I want to say 3 years, he was an All-American. Sheldon Adams at Upstate went away. He did extremely well. I got one of my kids now, Antoine. He graduated. He's doing well. He's on his way. He just told me he's on his way. He has 2 more years left, but he was successful at GCC, helped leading them to they lost in the national championship over at GCC. So, the kids go on and they are, very successful.
They certainly are. And I know your daughters, they both are doing well in college as well. I mean, yeah, they were great when they were at Bishop Kearney for the girls' basketball. I think they won their state championship and played in the state championship finals almost, I think, 2 years in a row, as I remember.
Yeah, that's a blessing because, not just opening the gym for the guys, but the gym has been open for the girls. And you see on the girls' side, they've been just as successful. We gave them a place to, we opened it up and they came, and they wanted it. And I'm very happy for what they've done. I've been blessed. My 2 daughters, full scholarships at Binghamton.
Wow,
that's beautiful.
I was gonna say, and talk to us just about you mentioned before, taking a step away just to embrace, your children and watching them doing what they do. What does it mean to have your student athletes be so successful?
Because they grow up with dreams, and I never wanted to be the one to say, nah, you're not going to achieve this dream. I wanted to, be a part of it to help them try to achieve those dreams, at whatever it was. And, if NBA was your dream, then, well, let's get in the gym and work. And it's just something that I didn't have really growing up, as you said, George, seeing us on Woodbine, playing in the neighborhood, but it was just all as kids. But just imagine if we were able to get in the gym and somebody's willing to train and show us what we didn't know. And, I learned a few things when I was in college from some very successful people. And I just bring it back to those kids and just try and help out. But it takes a village to help these kids. And I'm not solely responsible for their kids, but I'm just happy to be a part of it.
Yes. And you're seeing that trending paying off because you're seeing so many Rochester kids now doing well at various levels, high school, college, professional. It says a lot how far we've come since those days, since the 90s, how the training and being trained properly is paying off.
The kids who've been there before are coming back to give back to these kids. You got Christian Simmons coming back right now. He's playing across seas, training kids. It's so many other kids that's doing that, and that allows me to be able to step back and let these new age kids come back with the new basketball skills that they've learned and start taking more kids, to the forefront.
Absolutely. Isaiah Stewart's and a lot of guys, they coming back help. You're right. Thomas Bryant, I interviewed him last summer at his camp at the Boys and Girls Club up on Genesee Street. So you're absolutely right. These guys are coming back. They're not forgetting where they came from. And it's a brand new era.
And that's one of the things we also tried to instill in these kids that, like, if you guys do make it, you got to get back. Because again, and they have always said it, they was always those kids looking up at these other, at the other people coming in and talking at camps and whatnot. And now it's their turn. Hopefully it's going to be a lot more in this next crop of kids that's coming out.
Any camps coming up that you could announce for people to go online or call to find out about taking their kid to get them into some of these camps? Or programs.
Well, and that's the thing is so many programs, quality programs that's out there right now. It's just that people got to get into or get with the program that fits them, because it's not going to be a good fit. Every program's not be or camp is not going to be a good fit for everyone. If you want to learn the game of basketball, you might want to be with this type of person or this type of group. If you feel that you're very skilled, then you might want to be around other skilled players, and you just got to find the right fit. And it's okay to go with multiple people, and if you want to stay with one, then I think it's okay too. I think all of the kids that's being successful now, they've been around multiple people. And, I think that probably will, benefit you.
Absolutely. J-GILLZ, any questions in closing?
No. We just really appreciate, I appreciate your time and everything you've been doing for the youth, everything you've been doing for the community. I'll just say this, working with the youth, and George, you kind of sparked it, but we've seen so much success with, athletes from Rochester in all facets, whether it's a Desmond Green or a John Jones in the UFC. And, we got the NFL, CTC doing their thing, building NFL players daily. We got the basketball players Radman mentioned. What is it about, the youth and the resilience of Rochester that just, just sparks such a great course of young people?
I think I still firmly believe Rochester is a hidden gem. I really feel as if, because we're blue collar workers and kids are willing to really get after it, I think we could take any group of kids away from this area and go to an area in Carolina or in Texas where they have, 20, 30, 50 Division I schools in one area, and all of our kids will be looked at these schools because of the type of hard work we put in, the type of grind that we have. The problem is, to me, is our location. Our location makes it harder for coaches to come. But what we've been doing is we're still building, we're still grinding, and people are starting to really push the envelope to where, coaches are going to start coming back. We've changed the narrative to where, kids are not academically eligible to accept scholarships. Now, a lot more kids, because we have more people helping out, making it and stressing education, and that narrative is changing right before our eyes.
Absolutely, especially with the educational side. They early in the morning studying, later in the day, the whole night. I mean, they did after school programs for study. You're absolutely right. Their education and the sports are now finally coming together. Kevin, absolutely. That's a very good point. Hey, we want to thank you for coming on Real Deal Sports Show. We look forward to having you back. One last question for you: who you think going to win who's going to win this NBA championship?
Man, oh man. OKC is looking like the front runner right now. They're playing team basketball. They're getting up and down the court. I think it's going to be a good series if they win and Indiana pulls it out. That'll be a good up and down basketball game.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your expertise, and we look forward to having you back on Real Deal Sports Show once again in the very near future.
All right. Thank you.
Take care. Have a great day.
Have a
You as
great
well.
day. Yes,
All
sir.
right.
And J-GILLZ, who's our next segment sponsored by?
Man, you already know. Whenever we talk about the youth, we got to talk about Advantage Federal Credit Union. You know, auto liens, Visa cards, student checking accounts, and much more. Check out Advantage Federal Credit Union for the lowest interest rates in town.
Yeah, and the auto loans start at 4.99%. 4.99%. You want to get that auto loan and get yourself a new hoopty or something out for the spring for this upcoming warm weather, hopefully in June, so you can style and profile and do your thing. Advantage Federal Credit Union could be the answer for you. AdvantageFCU.org. J-GILLZ, our next guest, please introduce our next guest.
Man, we had him on last week, and we had to bring him back because the action he was talking was just too good. Man, we got our guy, NBA insider, Dylan Bruton, straight from the West Coast.
Hey, good morning. Good morning. Good to see you, gentlemen, again, and thank you all for having me on board once again.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right, J-GILLZ, go ahead, lead on the NBA. Dylan, what's your take on the Knicks? What's going on, man? The Knicks, what happened to them in the last two games?
Listen, the Knicks are a prime example of a team that when you have a coach who fails to make adjustments, it's going to show versus a coach who will make adjustments. Coach Carlisle is wiping the floor with Coach Thibodeau. Now, one thing that people have to look at with the Knicks is that they're running a rotation that's only going 7-8 players deep. While the Pacers, it seems like every time you look, it's like, oh, who's this guy? Who's this guy? And he's coming out and draining a three. He's coming out making a hustle play. The Knicks right now, they're going to need to really lock into, out physicaling and out muscling the Pacers. But right now, anytime you have a team that comes in and wins not once but twice in your home, in your stadium, you have to make a statement when you go on to their stadium with that same mentality. But right now, they're not playing like they were against Boston. They're not playing like how they were against Detroit. I don't know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? It seems like there's some lapses in concentration, but if they are going to regain momentum, it's going to have to come on the physical side of the ball because they've been getting outworked and outmuscled, and that's very uncharacteristic of the Knicks.
Wow, that's you said a mouthful there. You think they enjoyed you're in New York, the biggest mecca of media and the whole. Maybe they were reading the Palm League or enjoying the celebration after they defeated Boston and thought this NBA season was over, or they didn't have to play any more games, or because they looked like they had a ticker tape parade, an impromptu one right after that game outside the Garden there on 7th Avenue. It seemed like you're saying, it seemed like the whole town just thought it was all over. Oh,
well, one thing with a team like the Pacers is that they have won every. I think they pulled a stat that they've won like pretty much every road game. And when you have a team that is coming in hot, you have a team that is absolutely playing lights out, and there's no expectation for them. They're like, look, we're making a statement. We're coming in with a goal to get to the finals, and we're not gonna, jump the gun. We're not gonna celebrate too early because yes, it's better for the NBA to have a team like the Knicks go to the finals. Let's just keep it all the way real. The market, the history, you know what I'm saying? The draw of New York is back. Everybody is like, it is kind of like itching at it and ready to jump is ready to jump towards that. But unfortunately, Indiana's like not on my watch. Not if we can say something about it. And looking at how they've came out, they are making sure that on the offensive end that they've got shooters at every part of the game. You cannot convince me any way, shape, or form why is Campaign out there in the fourth quarter longer than Jalen Brunson. I get that Jalen Brunson is your best player and you want to give him some time to rest, but you're Tom Thibodeau. You don't like having your best players rest. You don't like anybody getting any rest, okay? And so now you made your bed. You have to lay in it. This is what you wanted. You did not want to have a team where you had a deep bench, but you can't in the fourth quarter sit your best player when you're already down 0-1 from a game that you should have won. This is the time where, no, be Iron Man. You need to be able to play it through. But because they don't have the depth, they don't have enough of a scoring punch, you're losing out on a lot by benching your best players. And Indiana, they're saying they can go to their bench, and they got a guy, again, that's going to come in and be able to hit threes. They got guys that are going to be able to, make plays on a pick and roll. New York just doesn't have that enough. So I think that ultimately the Celtics series kind of gave a false sense of, I don't want to say security, but it gave a little bit of false. It gave like a false sense of ammunition. It's like you land a punch on a guy that you didn't expect. And you're like, yeah, I'm bad. It's like, no, you just caught him slipping. But that doesn't mean that you're going to win the fight. It's just you caught them when they weren't prepared. Now, okay, now that the fight is on a fully even scale, can you win the battle? And that's going to be huge for New York because, the Pacers, them fans, they're fully, as much as the attention is on Knicks fans and how hyped and rowdy they are, them Pacers fans are too. They love and eat, sleep, and breathe basketball just as much up in Indianapolis. So
absolutely. So
in my opinion, fellas, I think this is what people are failing to realize when it comes to the Pacers. Dylan, you said it correct. When you're talking about the chip that they have on their shoulder, they're playing with a chip. Tyrese Halliburton voted the most overrated player. But what people aren't realizing is the experience that is over there in Indiana. There's probably the most experienced team when it comes to championship basketball left in the playoffs. You got a guy like Rick Carlisle, who won an NBA championship coaching against LeBron James and Eric Spoelstra. You got a guy like Pascal Siakam, who won an NBA championship back in 2019 with the Toronto Raptors. He knows what it takes to win. You got a guy like we just talked about, Thomas Bryant, who won an NBA championship with the Denver Nuggets just a couple years ago. So this team really, in the gist of it, this team is a very a well-coached team, a well-balanced team. They know what it takes to get it done. They have champions on that team. They have champions in their coaching staff. And I think that's what people are really not understanding. They have the youth. They have the experience as well to get them over the hump. That's why, to me, it should be a heavy favorite moving forward when you're talking about an NBA championship.
And gentlemen, what's going on with Minnesota Timberwolves? I thought Minnesota would play a better. Will give Oklahoma City a much better fight than what they've done so far. What's the trouble with Minnesota?
I think it kind of speaks to the same thing. Once again, is like that pedigree. You know what I'm saying? OKC, look at OKC, right? They got a guy like Alex Caruso, who was a huge defensive piece that was able to stop someone like Jokic, was able to neutralize him a bit, right? And he won a championship with the Lakers in 2020. When you have guys on your team who've made it to the mountaintop and won it, they know how to get there. They know how to get back. And that it's always valuable to have guys like that in your locker room. And OKC, you know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people right now are finally being introduced to Shea. So I've been seeing a lot of takes of, he's a foul merchant. You can't touch him. The thing is, if you look at the stats, Shea's able to draw fouls. And yes, I'm not going to lie. Sometimes, the refs might need to swallow the whistle a little bit. But Shea is able to draw fouls very well due to the fact that he knows how to find his angles. And a team like Minnesota, they're going to come in with the edge of like, we do want to out-muscle you. But a team like OKC's like, well, we can out-muscle you. We can out-finesse you. We can out-shoot you. However way you think that you can play us, we have a counterattack. And we have more depth than anybody in the league. I mean, you got a guy in there like Cason Wallace, who put him, if he went to a team like the Knicks, he would be a starter. You know what I'm saying? They've got guys. Isaiah Joe would be a first guy off the bench on most teams. They've got guys on their team that on most NBA rosters would be starters or would be like first guy off the bench. And they're like the third and fourth guy coming off the bench. So it goes into the depth. I think that a lot of people going off of last year with how much of a splash that Ant had, were expecting, oh, okay, he's going to take it a step further this year. But that team last year had Cat. Julius Randle has played well in this playoffs, but he's not Cat. There's levels to where they're at as players. And unfortunately, I think that given that OKC just has the depth of talent, I don't know if Minnesota has the depth. I think it's the same issue as that the Knicks suffer from. I don't know if they have a deep enough bench to compete. And I also will say too, this is just me personally, but I really feel like Ant's game is going to take another level the more he embraces the mid-range. I know he shot 40% from the three this year, and he's that's a valuable weapon to his arsenal. But if he wants to be, I don't know how much he wants to be, but if he wants to be this type of modern Jordan that people are making him out to be, he's got to embrace the mid-range game a lot more. That's a big reason for Shea's success. But Shea can hit the three, make no mistake. But Shea is going to carve you up in the mid-range, and he's very surgical with it.
Quickly, Dylan. So who you have moving on to the championship round? Who you have winning it?
Listen, before the series, both series started, I was like many others. All right, I was thinking, okay, maybe the Knicks finally do it, and Minnesota can do it. But I did say at the start of the season of the NBA, just in general, Celtics and OKC. I still think OKC is going to go, and right now, if we're going off of just momentum wise, I think it's going to be OKC and the Pacers. Obviously, Adam Silver is probably having a heart attack as we speak. But for hoop fans, for people who really love the game, I think this will be a great finals matchup.
I don't think he having a heart attack. I think my man is actually happy because when we talk about this new CBA and how everything depicted with these aprons, this is exactly what they wanted. They wanted these smaller markets to actually have a chance to win. And if you do get an OKC versus Indiana, man, that's going to open it up a lot for these smaller markets. And that's unfortunate for Lakers fans like me.
Exactly. Dylan Burton, NBA Insider. Thank you so much for coming on Real Deal Sports Show. BacSpin, I hear the music. Welcome back, BacSpin.
Thank y'all. Much appreciated. Much love.
You're welcome.
What's up, Brad, man? J-GILLZ.
Hey, I want to get you. What do you think of RG3? Let's get somebody else. I just let everybody know how I felt about this cat.
I mean, RG3, like you said, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think actually, I think what RC said was really valid. Like J-GILLZ said, I think he could have left, the whole his two white wives out of the comment.
I mean, come on. Personal.
I think, and you know what? That's what I think that was. I think that was a personal jab at RG3. I think, maybe him and Ryan Clark got a little underlying tension, behind the scenes going on. And I think that's what that comment was. A little poke at RG3 to like, I got this job too, and just like you got your comments that can say what you want to say, well, damn it, I can't do it. You got your wife in the back, well, she can get it too.
Right.
That's what I think that was all about right there. So
absolutely, I think it went down on Monday Night Football when they used to work together on Monday Night Football.
Yeah,
and something happened.
Yeah. I think there's some behind the scenes that both of them just don't like each other for whatever reason, and it spilled over into entertainment TV. And I'm here for it, man. I'm here. You know what? Celebrity boxing match. Put them both in the ring, and let's see who comes out the victor.
Yes, indeed. Let's see how it goes down. And last but not least, how do you not know jigaboo is an offensive word in the black community?
On, man.
A black person. How you don't know that?
Yeah, that shows you just how out of touch he is with his own community. You know what I mean? So I definitely didn't understand. Like, where you been all these years, buddy?
Right, for real, man. You missed your cultural classes in school. There, don't they teach that at Texas, Texas A&M or wherever?
I'm sure they did. I'm sure he's heard it before that day. So, it is what it is. Good entertainment. Got us talking about it. You know what I'm saying?
Makes for good entertainment.
Makes for good entertainment, for sure. Just like the Real Deal Sports Show makes for good entertainment every single Saturday, 8 a.m. right here on the Beat 105.5. I thank you, fellas, and I look forward to doing it again next week, man.
Absolutely.
Have a great week. Remember to be a good sport.
Yes, indeed. Rock City, keep it right where you need it. Coming up, you know what it is. The Back in Time Mix Show is on the way right here on the Beat 105.5. Don't go nowhere.